This video is going to be an overview of finding and working with results in MapWashtenaw. There are a few different ways to find data on the map. If you already know where your feature is located, you can use the scroll wheel or these plus and minus buttons here to zoom in and out on the map. Click and hold with the mouse to pan around the map and you can zoom into your area of interest. Interact with the map by clicking the left mouse button. This will give you a result for the parcel of that location. When a feature is a result, it shows yellow on the map so you know which one you're looking at, and it appears over here in the left panel under the results. If you want to see the full details for this parcel, click on the result here, and it will open the feature details panel. This is in a separate panel here so you can still interact with your results list or other tools you may currently have open. You can minimize this panel if you'd like, or even pop it out if you have more than one screen and want to dock it elsewhere. Click this button to dock it back in MapWashtenaw. When you're done with the feature details, you can click the X here to close them. Note that your parcel is still highlighted on the map because it is still one of your results. If you no longer want to see it highlighted in yellow on the map, you can click Clear Results here in the toolbar. Going back to the map, if you right-click on the map, you have a few options. You can see an estimated address, the current latitude and longitude of that point, and then you have the Identify tool, which will run Identify at that point. The Identify tool is also in the toolbar up here. This gives you the option, if you click on the tool to enable it, you can also click a single point, or you can click, hold, and drag to draw a square intersecting multiple features. The Identify tool will give you results for all the layers that are currently turned on in the map, unlike the left click of the mouse button, which only gave us results for parcels. Now that I have multiple results in my results pane here, when I hover over them, the one that I'm currently on will flash blue in the map so that you know which one is which. You can also see there's large shapes flashing blue here because they are our sections and quarter sections. If you don't want to see these results when you use the Identify tool, you have a couple of options. You can either turn them off in the layer list, so I'll go to layers here, I'll search for the PLSS, and I'll uncheck that on the map. Now if I use the Identify tool, you can see I only have a simultaneous conveyance result and parcels. The other way you can quickly get rid of them from your results list here is by using this button, which is Group by Layer. This groups the results by which layer they're from. So for example, if I don't want to see the simultaneous conveyance result, I can use the three-dot action menu next to it and say remove these features. Now I only have parcel results. I can either click into them here to see all the parcel results, or I'll click back so that they're still grouped by which layer they're from, and I can ungroup them here so I see all the individual results. Another way of using the Identify tool that people find helpful is by buffering. Down here on the toolbar, we can see the buffer menu. This black triangle here denotes that there are tools underneath this one. So if I click on this, we can see it expands into just the buffer tools. The first thing you'll probably want to do is click on Buffer Settings. Here is where you'll set the distance for how far you want to buffer your shape. So if I say 200 feet, I'll click X. And now if I use the Buffer Identify Point tool and I click somewhere on my map, it's going to buffer 200 feet around where I clicked. In this case, it only intersected one parcel. You can also use the Buffer Identify Polygon, which will also use that 200 feet. So for example, if you had a work site here and you wanted to see who's all within 200 feet of that shape, you can see it buffered that kind of rectangle shape I made and selected all of these parcels. When I'm done with this, I can click the X here to get back out of the buffer menu. I'll click Clear Results to get rid of all my yellow parcels, and we'll notice these buffers are still on the map. After using the buffer tool, they are now markup on the map, which I'll go more into later, but for now, you can go to the Markup tab here, go to Edit, and say Delete All if you don't want to see them. Now, if you don't see what you're looking for on the current map and you don't know where to find it, there are a few different options to search for data. The easiest is in the top right corner. This text box allows you to search by address or parcel PIN. So for example, if I type in an address of, then hit enter, my results will come up in the left side over here. Note, only one of these actually has a little parcel icon next to it. So if I click that group by layers, I can see where these results are coming from. Only one of them is an exact match for the address on a parcel polygon. The others are coming from our address locator. This is more of a fuzzy search. So if I go into these results, you can see maybe I was looking for South Main Street or West Main Street instead. So it's important to have a little bit of fuzziness to the search so that you can always find a result. Because, for example, if I typed out North Main Street, I would not get that parcel result because the parcel only had an N and not the full word north in its name. So if I was trying to find that parcel, I would go into the address locator results here. I would see, yes, the one I'm interested in is in Ann Arbor, so it's probably one of these. And then if I click on it, it will zoom me to that location. Then if I'm interested in this parcel, I can left click on it to see the actual parcel result. Note the little parcel icon here, and I can get the full details. Please don't be confused with the address locator results. So if I search for this address again and I go into this address locator result, note that there's no parcel icon here. These results are not the parcel attributes. At this time, I cannot hide these. So please make sure you're actually clicking into a result with a parcel icon for the full parcel information. This is just the scoring information behind the address locator. When you're all done with your searches and you no longer want to see them, just a reminder, click on the Clear Results button up here. So now we no longer have the yellow highlighting on the map or our list of results here on the left side. If you don't know the exact pin or address you want to search for, you can try the Parcel Search tool. If you click on this, we have a couple of autocomplete options. The top one here is to search by a parcel pin. This can be helpful if it's a brand new parcel pin that may not be in our system yet. If you start typing, you'll see all of the possible pins that have that piece of text in them. So if I'm interested in this one, then I click Zoom to Parcel here at the bottom, and it'll take me to that parcel. Same thing for the bottom option here, search by parcel address. You can start typing an address. Please note this is only going to be on the parcel polygons themselves, so this will not have like apartments and other sub-parcel addresses. So your text here will filter down to any parcels that have autumn in the name. When you find whatever you're interested in, just click on that result and then say Zoom to Parcel. The last option here on the Parcel Search allows you to select many parcels at once if you have a list of pins. Please note they need to be in this exact format where you have a pin, comma, and then your next pin. So for example, if I had a list of pins, I can just paste them in here. Note there's no space between the two of them, there's only a comma. The letters here are just denoting the letters that tend to start the pins. Not all pins will actually start with a letter. So when you have your list in here, then you can click Zoom to Parcel, and it will select both of those on the map for you. Let's dive deeper into working with results. I'm going to go ahead and use the Identify tool to select a bunch of parcels. As we've already seen, we can group the results by which layer they're from. There's also this button here which can compact the view so you can see more at once if you have a long list. Click on it again to see the full details. If you want to trim down the results here, you can use Refine to remove results you're not interested in. So for example, if I'm not interested in any of the simultaneous conveyances, I can say Select All and remove those selected. Click Apply. If I don't want particular parcels, I'll change my source to parcels, and then I can either individually select the ones I don't want and then say remove, or I could say select all and then uncheck the ones I want to keep. Click Apply, and now we can see I have many fewer parcels here selected. Click on Refine again to minimize that menu. Note there are a few more menus around here under these 3 dot icons. This top one is going to work on all of the results. So if I click on that, We have options such as removing all these features from our selection, so that's going to get rid of everything, or add to markup if you want to work with them as markups on the map. There are also 3-dot menus next to each individual feature, so if I did that, then I could run a parcel report on just this parcel. You'll also see a 3-dot menu next to the group if you group by layers. So let me go ahead and do a fresh identify. I'll group by layer, and now we can see that we also have a 3-dot menu here. So I could do a parcel report on all 14 of these parcels, or I could say, hey, I want to remove all these features from my map. If you want to add more results, I'm going to go ahead and ungroup here so I can see all my parcels. If you want to add more to them, you can click on Add to Results here, and that will be another identify tool, so you can use it in the same way, either just single click to identify at that point, or you can draw a box. And that's going to add to my current results list over here. Note it's adding to results, so if you don't have any results over here, the tool will not work. This tool also has a repeat action bar at the top here. This allows me to quickly add many parcels without having to re-enable the tool each time. Make sure when you're done, you either tap Escape on your keyboard or click the X here to close out of the repeat action. Otherwise, it may cause issues with the rest of MapWashtenaw. Once again, if I only want to see the parcels, I can go Group by Layer and say, click on the 3-dot menu next to parcels data, and I can say remove all the other features. So I'm only looking at these 37 parcels. Now, if I want to dive into these parcels, I'll expand the group here, and I hover over them. They'll flash blue, so I know which one I'm looking at. If I click on one to open the feature details, it will show blue on the map until I hover over another one, which will flash blue instead. The feature details panel has a few different sections. At the top are feature actions, which will work on this one feature. So for example, if you hover over them, you can see a description. We have the parcel report PDF. We have send an email with feedback. That's going to automatically generate an email with information about this feature you're looking at in case you have any feedback about it. You also have remove this feature from your feature set and remove all other features, just like we were seeing under those other 3-dot menus. We have measure this result on the map, which we'll get into more when we talk about measurements, but this will measure this one parcel polygon for us automatically. We have identifying a buffer around this parcel, which can be more helpful than using the buffer tool in the toolbar because we don't have to actually draw the parcel shape ourselves. This is also going to use the distance that we set under the settings here. So remember, we left it at 200 feet. So if I just tap on this, it's going to automatically buffer 200 feet around this parcel I was looking at. And now I have these 17 parcels that were within 200 feet of it. And the last one here is to add the current feature to markup, which we'll talk more about later. Underneath these feature actions, we have all the information, the attributes we have for this parcel. At the bottom, we have related records. So if there's sales information for the parcel, if there's drain assessments, you can see that information here. Keep scrolling down, we have some external links. BSNA Online is going to take you to the municipality's BSNA website. That's going to be the most up-to-date information about the parcel, so I'd recommend looking at that if our data seems to be a little out of date, because we receive the data from the municipalities at least once a year. Keep going down, there's a few more options like view in Google Maps if you want to open that location in Google Maps and then do directions, or if you want to check out how their aerial imagery compares. You can also use their street view here if you want to check out what the parcel looks like. If we go back to MapWashtenaw, we also have a link here to Bing Maps. So if I open that, one of their unique features is their bird's eye imagery. So if you go up here in the top right and click on bird's eye, it's going to change to their imagery that's on a slight angle so that you can see kind of around a property. This is most noticeable if you're looking at taller buildings. So let's say, let's go over to EMU's campus here. And instead of looking straight down on a building, you can see it from the sides. You can even rotate it here to get a different view. Back in MapWashtenaw, it can be hard to look at all these parcels at once if you're trying to compare them. So I would recommend, let's close out of this feature details panel. There's a button here that says show table. So right now we're in the list view, a vertical view here of all the parcels we're interested in. If I click on show table, that's going to change it to a horizontal view. What's cool about this is that you can hide fields you're not interested in by clicking on the X here. You can also reorder fields, so if there's something that's important, you can bring it up to the front. You can sort the fields, so if you hover over a name here, you can click on the arrows to either sort ascending or descending. And if you click on this filter icon in the top corner here, you can actually filter. So if I wanted to find only the parcels that are on, what was it? There's Autumn something. So I start typing Autumn, only one of them is on Autumn Woods Trail. When you want to go back to the list view, you can click on Hide Table here, and it'll take you back to the list view. Note that right now we're only looking at the parcels, but we actually have results across multiple layers. You can get back to them by clicking on the arrow here, and you can see we also have a section, a quarter section, a simultaneous conveyance. When you're looking at these results in the table view, those different layers come up as different tabs here, so you can switch between them. Now, normally when you clear your results, they're gone. You would have to re-identify on these parcels to get them back. You do have the option of using starred selections. Let me go over in the toolbar a little bit so you can see it better. When I use the identify tool on some parcels and I go into the parcel results, you can see we have stars here. If I kind of want to save it so that I can look at these later, you can click the star here. Now when I clear my results, they're gone, but the application still knows about them in the back end. So if I click on the load starred here, I'm going to get those 3 parcels that I starred back. Note, this is only during your current session, so don't count on it being here still if you come back another day. If you no longer want to see these starred, you can either unstar them by just clicking on the star again. So now I only have 2. Or you can clear them all at once by clicking on Clear Starred. Now if I click Load Starred, the list is empty.